Hello YouTube, and welcome back again to another Sherlock Holmes film review, but at the same time this is also another horror film review for the Horror Globe, as well as on my channel, which I usually do. I put on both channels. The reason why I say horror, because this kind of fits in that category of horror. this is um, this is Sherlock Holmes in Murder by Decree, starring Christopher Plummer as Sherlock Holmes and James Mason as Watson, or Dr. John Watson. And um, and we have other actors here: David Hemmings, we have Suzanne Clark, we have Anthony Quayle, John Gielgud, Frank Finlay, and we also have Donald Sutherland as the psychic. Um, and he's up against Jack the Ripper. Yeah, and this is why it kind of fits for the Halloween theme as well as of course covering the basis for my Sherlock Holmes overview review that I did about a month or two back, where I did my overview and started reviewing all the Sherlock Holmes films. I got all the Basil Rathbone films covered, and as well as doing some of the stuff outside of that set, of course, and this is one of them. Okay, so let's get started with this film. I have to tell you, folks, that this truly was a treat to watch, and I have to give a big thank you to Aaron Pinn for recommending this. And I think it was Joe, or it was either Joe or Dave. Which Joe, his channel is Joe's House of Horrors, and Dave, his channel is Hip Hop and Rap 71. It's one of those folks, one of those guys that recommended this one as well, along with, of course, Aaron Pinn. But either or, whichever one it was between Joe or Dave, please shoot on over to their channels anyways and give them a sub. Okay, and of course it goes without saying, you should already be subbed to Aaron Pinn. If you're not, shame on you. Sub to Aaron Pinn. I mean, he's a fantastic YouTuber. Great guy all around. Gives dead on, accurate, very detailed, fantastic reviews. He's also a very funny guy. Very fantastic entertainer as well. So uh, give him a sub. Give all those other guys a sub, and everyone involved in the globe. And if you enjoy my stuff, please give me a sub as well. But Murder by Decree. I saw this one last night, and it's Sherlock Holmes, and it opens up with him and Watson. They're attending this sort of like a play or an opera type thing in like an opera house. And by the way, I'm drinking my some tea. I don't know, it was something my brother drank with a little bit of mint in there from a mint leaf he threw in there, and it's fantastic. And they're in this opera house, and the king and the queen show themselves, coming out of the balcony. A lot of people are cheering for them, but then you have a certain section of people where they're booing them. And Watson doesn't agree with this, and neither does Holmes, but he kind of tries to stay out of this. And Watson starts cheering, kind of defending the prince, and the prince and the queen. They kind of or the king and the queen, prince or the king. I think maybe the king and the queen. They kind of look at Watson and acknowledge what he's doing for them, and just kind of nod. Okay, um, and then it cuts to a scene where, from a POV, the perspective of a gentleman, and it looks like he's kind of sneaking down the alleyway, and he comes across this whore, and basically he kills her. Turns out to be Jack the Ripper. I believe he chokes her, but then he also mutilates the body afterwards. Um, Sherlock Holmes gets wind of this, of course. He's seeing it in a newspaper. Watson is wondering, what the hell? How come Scotland Yard is not uh, um, uh, coming to not coming to our aid, but seeking our help, coming to us for help. And Sherlock Holmes is kind of wondering too, but he's thinking, well, maybe it's not really that bad. They can figure it out. Let them come to us. His pride, that type of thing. Eventually, they're going back to their home in 221 Baker Street B, by Carriage, and you notice that they both notice that they're being kind of stalked by this group of gentlemen. When they get into their house, you know, uh, Sherlock Holmes says, "Don't turn the light on right away. Just go take a look, and let's take a look and see who these people are, and kind of get an idea of who they might possibly be." Looks down, it's just like a group of like 4 or 5 gentlemen. Watson then lets them in, and they find out they're just regular citizens from this part of the district, that neighborhood where Sherlock Holmes is from, and they basically are somewhat of like a militia group, but not so much that, just something of that caliber, I suppose, where it's the people now. They've come to Sherlock Holmes asking for aid to put an end to Jack the Ripper's reign of terror. So this is very interesting because it's the people coming to Sherlock Holmes asking for help. And so what follows is him kind of getting himself involved in this case unofficially, because Scotland Yard has not officially asked for his help. Lestrade's in here, and unlike the Basil Rathbone ones, he's seems to be a more uh, like a realistic portrayal of someone who would be an inspector. You know what I mean? Not so much of a clown. And Watson as well, not so much like the oh shit, it was how come I can't remember the name of the guy who played Watson in the Basil Rathbone? Nigel Bruce. It's not like the Nigel Bruce one either, where he's not so much of a clown. More of a serious and formidable Dr. Watson. Um, One of the first bodies they come across too was so badly mutilated around in the midsection. You don't really see it, but there is quite some bloody scenes in this film, even though it's only a PG rating. But I think when I looked in my DVD guide, it did get an R, so I'm not sure what to believe. Maybe somewhere in the middle, PG-13 possibly. It really isn't a horrific film where it does really truly deserve an R, but maybe like a strong PG or PG-13. So anyways, so it's Sherlock Holmes on the case of trying to solve this the murders, to put a stop to basically not solve the murders, but just basically try to put a stop to Jack the Ripper. There's this new character, also one of the I guess that the like the big people in Scotland Yard. I forgot his name. Hemingsworth or something like that. He might even be above Lestrade, and he is completely against Sherlock Holmes. And there's a big secret with this guy, with this Hemingsworth guy, this other inspector, who doesn't want Sherlock Holmes involved for reasons that deal with. Let's just say he's part of a secret society, a certain secret society, which I won't mention it because it's kind of like I guess somewhat of a spoiler, but also let's just say too that Sherlock Holmes happens to know all of the secret handshakes and gestures involved in this in this secret society. Um, there's a nice little twist with the Jack the Ripper character, which I'm not gonna spoil, and the film just it grips you, and at least it gripped me, throughout the whole length of the film. Let me go ahead real quickly and just read the back too. When Scotland Yard is unable to stop the gruesome rampage of Jack the Ripper, a citizens' committee asks Sherlock Holmes, played by Christopher Plummer, and his trusted associate Dr. Watson, played by James Mason, to investigate. But even if Holmes's remarkable powers of deduction can unmask the maniacal fiend, can he and Watson face the most shocking secret of all? Find out in this masterful suspense thriller directed by Bob Clark, A Christmas Story, that both fans and critics have called the most exciting and original Sherlock Holmes movie ever made. And Bob Clark, I just learned through Aaron Pinn, also directed one of his all-time favorite horror films, Black Christmas, the original. So that's fantastic. I definitely have to give that one a watch. I have, of course, the remake on DVD, and I do plan to upgrade on Blu-ray, but for $1. I thought Donald Sutherland as the psychic, he was also fantastic in this too. He's mostly in it in the beginning portion of it. And you don't really see him near, past the mid end of the film so much. And I thought he gave a fantastic performance. You see Sherlock Holmes actually get into a disguise as one of the usual um, uh, traits of Sherlock Holmes, what he's kind of renowned for with getting into these various disguises. And I thought that was great. I really thought Christopher Plummer made a fantastic Sherlock Holmes, and James Mason made a great Dr. Watson as well. Um, Gave fine performances, and the ones who played Jack the Ripper, uh, I thought he was great as well. And what's kind of cool is when you kind of see him too, because when you see his face and all, they don't really try to hide it so much. I mean, only at the very beginning, but you kind of start to really see more of it once it's more of his face. So it's not really so much a secret of how he looks like. And you see his eyes are so black, and just his facial expressions and his face is just really fucking creepy. So great job on that. The world's best detective is on the case of Jack the Ripper. Great stuff. Um, Film came out in 1979, color, and it was 124 minutes. So little over 2 hours. Chris Wiggins was also in this film in a minor role as the psychiatric, rather the one in charge of the psychiatric institute that Sherlock Holmes visits when trying to just find out more clues, or when he's going out trying to he's questioning some witnesses and stuff like that, and one of the leads kind of leads him to the mental institution, or the insane asylum, or insane asylum, and it's I think it was Susan Clark's character, I believe, and she gave a standout performance, even though for that role that she was in, playing sort of a catatonic, almost like a catatonic, but not really catatonic. Catatonic, you're just you don't speak at all, just someone who's kind of like kind of out of it, or somewhat labeled as crazy. And she gave a great performance, I thought. And it's a really powerful scene in that mental institution when Sherlock was talking to her and kind of getting answers from her, and Chris Wiggins, minor role, like I said, but he was, of course, good in it. Chris Wiggins, of course, I know from not only Friday the 13th, the series, but in An American Christmas Carol, which starred Henry Winkler, who we all know from the Fonz and Happy Days. But great all-around film. Picture quality and sound quality for this film being on DVD was pretty good. Kind of wish this would be one that they would eventually release on Blu-ray, maybe Scream Factory or Olive Films or something. Okay. Yeah, no real special features other than an audio commentary with co-producer and director Bob Clark. Fantastic. And behind the scenes stills gallery, a poster and skills gallery and theatrical trailer. It's in widescreen English monorail Dolby Digital audio. So all in all, I have to tell you, this truly was a real treat to watch, folks. And when it comes down to my story rating, and I have to thank you, Aaron Pin. Thank you so much for this fine recommendation. You never steer me wrong. I mean, I've like I said, I've grown to trust your recommendations wholeheartedly, and this was no exception. So thank you for that, Aaron. Um, what the hell? I am gonna have to. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Great performances, great cinematography, great look of England, and just everything. The nighttime scenes looked fantastic. The daytime scenes were great, of which there wasn't all that much, but there were a few. It was mostly dark scenery, and I loved it. And I just want to point out too, his cover is different. His is the Anchor Bay release. This is the Lionsgate Studio Canal Lionsgate one. I don't know how the two differ. I don't know if the transfers are different or what, but the covers are different. And here's the cover of it. I really dig this cover, and I like how it's the reflection of the city in the water in there. But enough digging around. I would give this film a perfect score of a 5 out of 5, and it sits there among the best of the Sherlock Holmes films that I've seen. Really coming out of that Basil Rathbone set. Really, I mean, this is Murder by Decree is the first one I have given probably, yeah, a perfect 5 out of 5 star rating outside of that Basil Rathbone set. I'm not going to say I like this one. I'm not going to say Murder by Decree is the best Sherlock Holmes film, um, you know, or better than, you know, things like, what was some that I gave a perfect 5 out of 5? Um, Terror by Train, I think was one, the one where it took place on a train. I absolutely love that one. I think it's Terror by Train. Um, you know, it's not better than that or some of the other ones that they give a perfect score to, but it is as great and as grandiose of a film as those. And that's why it's a 5 out of 5, folks. Perfect. You need to add that one to your collection. Murder by Decree. You haven't seen this one yet, you know, you're missing out. So get this one. Thank you, folks, for watching. Hope you're having a happy Halloween, and farewell.